Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good any time of the day or night, wherever you are. Peace and blessings. And thank you for joining me again today with a little bit of your time. I am on here today because I'm concerned. I'm very concerned about where our country is today. I'm concerned that Donald Trump is gaining more and more power, and there are a whole lot of things going on right now, and it's a whole lot of distraction. You know, some of it is harmful distraction, no doubt, but distraction nonetheless. This latest thing that I just said something about is the SNAP program. People are snapping because of the SNAP program, and rightly so. Okay, and then there are all kinds of other things that have been going on, just one after one after one after one. Mike Johnson, who is the Speaker of the House in the Congress, he's doing all kinds of things. We got ICE going all over the place. We got Trump going to the courts to try to get things done. To get things done that he wants, and he doesn't want to be stopped. And he's fighting here and he's fighting there. And you got Kash Patel and Pam Bondi going before Congress and acting absolutely ridiculous. But these are all things that are going on to distract us from what they really want to do. And what they will, even Trump asking for the Nobel Peace Prize, which he may want, but he knows he's not going to get that. So anyway, there's just all kinds of things going on. And I think what he is trying to do is distract the whole country, just, have them looking here and there and here and there and distracting them from paying attention to what is really going on. And listen, I want to say this particularly to the African descendant community. I want to say this particularly to you. And I know there are some people of our people who don't want to be identified as African descendants. We're not talking about that. I know some people of our people who prefer to be called Black. Not talking about that. What I'm talking about is no matter where you are, if you are part of this community, okay, we need you. We need your vote. I'm going to play a clip from 8 years ago when Trump was elected, okay? And what I'm trying to do here is show you that we have to come together. We can't afford to not vote. We have to vote. We have to vote. Our vote counts. Listen, people were paid in our community to discourage us from voting. Yeah, people got paid to discourage us from voting. That's how much he wanted to win. And I will tell you something else. I believe that people were paid to vote in this recent election. That's my belief. That's what I believe, that people were paid to vote in this recent election. You have so many people now who are saying they regret their vote. Now, of course, I'm not saying everybody, but I do believe there were some people who were paid specifically to vote for Trump in this last election. That's just my belief, okay? Here's what I'm saying. We have to vote. We need your vote. We need all people, whether you want to identify yourself as Black or African descendant, or whatever you want to identify. We're all in the same group. This is the time where we have to come together as one and concentrate on this one thing, because if we don't, it's not going to get any better. Now I'm talking to my young brothers and sisters, sons and daughters, because I'm probably old enough to be some of y'all's grandmother. Okay? But listen to me, please. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I do know this one thing. We have to love each other enough to help each other out of this predicament that we are in this country. If we can't, if we all want to do better, we have to help each other do better. We have to. We have to. Because this country is headed in a direction. Do you know that these people actually thought, these farmers and all of these, Nebraska, I think, was one of them, actually thought that if they put out information for that there were jobs available to come work on their farms for $11 an hour, that they felt like people who were in the cities, in the urban areas, who weren't making $11 an hour, that $11 an hour would be enough to encourage them to leave their homes and go out in the middle of Nebraska and work on their farms for 12 hours a day for $11 an hour. They thought that there were people in our communities that really felt like there was going to be a big boom. Ooh, $11 an hour. And listen, I am not making fun of anybody who makes less than $11 an hour. But this was how this is part of this Project 2025, was that we African descendant people, Black people, were supposed to be lured into working these farms and going back to slave-like conditions, working from sunup to sundown. Yeah, sundown, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what they thought. We have to understand what is going on. Y'all, we are in the 2026 election cycle right now. I know it's only 2025, but right now we are in the 2026 election cycle. Do everything that you can. Go to your communities. Go to your state representatives, your Congress people who are in your area, your councilmen, your district representatives, right there in your communities that you can speak to and get information from. Go talk to them, ask them, what is it that you can do to make sure that your vote counts. They're doing all kinds of things. According to Google, gerrymandering is the practice of drawing political district boundaries to give one party or group an unfair advantage in elections. Okay, so it's very important that we pay attention to when we hear things like gerrymandering on the news, that we know that what they're doing is they're trying to skew election results and make races less competitive and diminish the influence of certain communities by concentrating or diluting their party, their voting power. So we need to understand that that's what gerrymandering is. We hear it, we need to have an understanding of it so we can know what they're doing to us. Just all kinds of things. This is nothing new. This is what they've always done to keep us suppressed and subjugated, and this is what they're continuing to try to do. But we have to break through, and the only way we can do that is to do it together. Together. Love each other enough to do it together. That's what we have to do. So please, now I'm getting ready to play this clip so I can show you a receipt for what I'm talking about. Okay, stand by.
And the African American community was great to us. They came through big league. And frankly, if they had any doubt, they didn't vote. And that was almost as good because a lot of people didn't show up.
Did you catch what he said at the end? Because a lot of people didn't show up. Listen, in this past election, we lost in a lot of areas just because people didn't go and vote. They sat it out. And I don't know, maybe they were thinking in their minds that other people would go and vote and that would be enough, and it wasn't. And now we are dealing with a presidency that wants to be a king. Yeah, he wants to be king. It's very authoritarian, and he's trying to get this to where he can rule with an iron fist. And this is our last opportunity to get him out. Understand that the general election is for the president. But what really, really counts is when we vote for congressmen and senators. That's what really, really counts. The midterms are far more important than the general election. So, because that tells us how much power we have, whether it's going to be in the Democratic Party or whether it's going to be the Republican Party. And neither one of them, in my estimation, are doing a very good bang-up job. But I am glad that the Democrats are holding fast and not giving in. Because if they do, people's insurance premiums will go up sky high, twice as much as they're paying right now. With SNAP, the food stamp program, is already on the 1st of November, people are going to lose their food stamps unless they meet certain conditions. And I believe one of those conditions is that they have to find a job and work at least 20 hours a week, or they have to do community service. And I'm not sure how much community service they have to do, but it's going to be an ongoing thing. It won't be community service for just one time. They'll have to do community service all the time, or they will have to find a part-time job. And listen, are we looking at the job market, the economy right now? People can't find jobs. So probably most of those people are going to be doing community service. And what is that? That is free service. That is service that you, almost like what they did with the black codes during Jim Crow and a little bit before Jim Crow, but all the way through Jim Crow with the black codes. People who did not have jobs, they called them vagrants, and they arrested them for vagrancy. And these were pretty much newly freed slaves, so they had no jobs. People wouldn't hire them. So where are they going to get a job from? And then vagrancy, they would get a charge of vagrancy, meaning that they were just hanging around, maybe looking for a job, but being denied. And because they were considered vagrants, they were arrested. And because they couldn't pay their legal fees, then they were leased out for labor, many times to the same people that they were enslaved to before the Emancipation Proclamation. Now, if you are going to say, well, if you want to have food stamps to eat, you have to work for free because you can't find a job, because you can't even get a job that's going to pay you 20 hours, or where you can make 20 hours a week or work 20 hours a week. And you have to do the community service because there are no jobs out there. You are pretty much working for free for as long as you have to continue to get the SNAP. Okay? Now, while you're working the community service, because nobody knows what the hours of the community services are going to be. So if you don't know what the hours are and you wind up working from early in the morning till late in the evening, you really don't have time to go out and find a possible available job. You have to understand, this is done before. It's the same playbook. It is the same playbook. That's what they're trying to do. And that is why it is imperative that we vote. Your vote counts. We cannot afford to have a district of with 100,000 people who decide that they're not going to go vote. We have people who have won positions in a vote with just a few votes, some even under 100 votes, because people went out and vote and it counted. Listen, whatever you were told or think about voting, thinking it's a waste of your time, let me tell you right now that your life and your livelihood depend on it. We have to vote, and we have to get people in office who can change this around. Right now, the Republicans are running things, and they are loyal to Trump in a large part. I think there are some who are not, a few, but the majority of them are loyal to Trump, not only because they like him, but they like what he's doing. It is giving them a taste of making America great again in their terms. And what they're talking about, again, was Jim Crow. Again was slavery. That's the again that they're talking about. It is imperative that we know we have to fight this tooth and nail. And the way that we can dig our teeth in the most is to vote. Please understand. Listen, I am old enough to have been at the end of the Jim Crow era. I remember sitting in the back of a bus in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah, I do. I remember sitting in an area where I had white people looking at me like I was dirt. I remember there was a little white girl on the bus, and she waved her little hand at me just because I was another kid. You know, she saw a kid, and her mother snatched her hand back and reprimanded her for speaking to me. That's the again that they're talking about. That's the great that they're talking about. It's not going to be great for us. We have to use our vote. Every last person who can and has the ability to do it should vote in this election. Every last one of us. And research. You have time to study. You have time to see what some of these candidates stand for, or what they say they stand for. And you have to be skeptical of some of that, because people can say anything. Doesn't mean that they'll do it. Look at all the things that Donald Trump said he was going to do. Prices were going to go immediately down. The country was going to be rich again. We were going to have more money than we ever had before. It's a good thing that I wasn't, you weren't, and the rest of the country wasn't holding their breath, because it would not have been good for our health. And it's not good for us now. Please, please understand the urgency and the importance of voting my people. Please. We need for you to get out there. We need for you to vote. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. I want you to have peace and blessings. And I want you to stay woke. Please stay woke. It is not time to sleep, not nap. Stay woke. Love y'all.